be forewarned, I have never been a fan of reggae or Bob Marley's music. Did this change my mind? Not really. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing Bob Marley, One Love. And yes, you might be like, how dare you not like reggae music? It's just not my thing. R&B is not my thing. Reggae's not my thing. Pop music ain't my thing. The Taylor Swift bullshit ain't my thing. And that's fine. I love hard rock. I like metal. I like shit like that. And some people don't like that. And that's okay. But I could listen to this more than Taylor Swift, more than this new mumble rap bullshit, Tekashi 6ix9ine shit. But let's just continue on this movie. And this movie is literally a 3 to 4 year span of, the uprising in Jamaica where Bob Marley gets shot. That's like the first 15 minutes of the movie. Then he moves to London. He's figuring out what he wants to do with his life of, what's occurred in Jamaica. He doesn't want to go back to Jamaica, but slowly realizes maybe he needs to go back to Jamaica because there is shit that happens in his life that he's like, I just got to face my fears, if you want to put it that way. So we do get a small glimpse of when he was younger and when he was like in the 78 to 81 is what this real movie really like talks about. So to like this movie, I thought it was a good movie for a person like me who knew nothing about Bob Marley, doesn't really know the music. However, it felt very surface level and very shallow. And with that, I just need more depth overall because when I was watching the first 20-25 minutes, I was really enjoying myself. But I realized something. It's repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. And then finally something happens in the third act about his diagnosis, and it is like a train completely stops. There's a scene in a room with him and his wife, and it literally like takes the air out of the room of like what happened to the pacing of the movie, which, like I said, I was fine with, the concert after concert after concert, which I could get a little bit repetitive, and it did, but there's something that I realized with that scene where it was supposed to be an emotional scene about like what happened with his diagnosis and what should he do. Jamaica gained this ring from an Ethiopian prince. It just like stopped the movie full force, and I was like, whoa, 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 what just happened? Like the air was taken out of the room. And finally, at the very end, you do get a kind of satisfying ending that talks about what is occurring. But like I said, you don't get a lot of people's side of the story. Yeah, you get Bob Marley's side. You get a little bit of his wife and a little bit of his friends and what occurred. But it's one of those movies that they kind of refuse to dig deeper into maybe shit that he really messed up in his life, because it seemed like he cheated on his wife. He did other stuff overall, and they just kind of glossed over it, which is fine. But at a point, I need to know like what Bob Marley is like through in and throughout, and it just didn't do it that way. But when talking about the actual movie, it was fun. The acting was really good. I thought the directing was fine. For me, I couldn't understand 20% of the dialogue. It was just very Jamaican accent and just words I don't know what it meant. Some white boy shit, okay? Guilty as freaking charged. I didn't understand what some of the stuff was saying, and that's okay. But you got kind of the gist of what is going on. So yeah, there is that. But I just wanted more overall. I understand why now that this was a November Christmas release and they realized, let's move it to, Valentine's Day weekend, which is probably a solid bet because they're going to make a decent amount of money. I know this was like a $65-70 million budget, which is good overall for, I think, the returns. They did $14 million on Valentine's Day alone, and that's really solid numbers. So overall, Bob Marley, I do think it's a run-of-the-mill, biography type of film, like Bohemian Rhapsody. But I feel like Bohemian Rhapsody, you got more of like the clashes in between. Here you get one clash with someone, taking money from African nations, but then it stops. That's what I'm saying. It's very surface level and shallow, where it refuses to dig deeper into some of these bigger themes of like, the British manager of, did they do the American tour? Which looks like they didn't. The African tour looks like they just did Zimbabwe. But it's just like stuff like that where they're just like, I want to know more, but you're not giving me more to understand. And I know for a fact there could have been a good subplot with the kids as well, but it just never was put to life. And now I'm wondering too, if he cut off the toe, would he be alive? We will never know. So Bob Marley, One Love will receive a 3 out of 5 with Futons, which equals at 60%. So see the critics and user scores gave this one. Critics, 44% with 114 of them. Audience score, 94% with over 500. Critic consensus. Kingsley Ben-Adir does an admirable job in the center role, but Bob Marley, One Love is ultimately a standard biopic that doesn't do justice to his brilliant subject. I think I could dig that critic consensus because, like I said, there's something interesting about him being in London, the cancer, what his wife was doing in the States, but they just focused way more on the Exodus album. That cool, we're focusing on the music, but what was Bob Marley really like? And I did not get that. So 44, 60, 94. Chase Lack here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Blue Futontopia. You Blue Futoners think about your great day. I can watch this tape tomorrow, week from now, a month from now, a year from now. I love every single freaking one of you. And which one did you watch this weekend? If I have to choose one, watch Land of Bad.